I've got the sniffles already. If you're watching this after the fact, when you go to 00:00, that is when we begin story time. So that should be awesome for you. Having, as usual, a little bit of technical difficulties. It's such a mixed bag, man. There's always something going on. Kind of crazy. Okay. We say it says we're live on TikTok, but I don't have any idea. I really don't know now, do I? Let's see who we got here. Anybody in the chat room? Let's go to chat. Hey, Cobalt, how you doing? And chat is dead, so let's quit that, bring that back up. Still working on all the good stuff here, you guys. Okay. Let's try this. Hello. There it is. All right, our chat is back. That's very good. Can hide this webcam setting here. Recluse Mage, how you doing? Apparently, I'm guessing everybody can hear me okay. Seems like we're doing good. Constantly modifying what we do here. And a lot of times whenever you modify something, you can torque something else right in the old keister. Hello, Valerie. How you doing? Okay. Once again, we're coming at fact. You go to 00:00. We start story time. But all you guys watching live got to hang out with me. Recluse Mage says can hear it fine. Edward Rocco, hello. Dre LH. It was in blue, so I had to lean in my squinty ass old eyes and take a look at it. Okay. Just had a coughing fit out of nowhere and wasn't even sure I was going to be able to do the damn episode. Till today we may have to skip right ahead to deep cuts. But sounds like we'll be able to get through it. No problem. Got a little water. That's very helpful. How's everybody's week going? You guys are having a good time? Getting your stuff done? Wait a couple minutes and then we'll go into our housekeeping here. Nan Bailey, how the hell are you doing? Cobalt says video and audio are great on YouTube. Fantastic. Daryl Harris, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you. Martin, hello, Martin Evans. I'm trying to clear it all out. Just clear it all out. All the sniffles come out of nowhere. So we are going to let's get into our housekeeping. Yeah, let's do that before we get jumping right in. Today's episode is Slay episode 87, Icepick. You can see it in the bottom corner there. After the episode, our deep cuts is about things pro authors wish they'd known before getting published. So we'll definitely be talking about that. Sunday, March 9th, Slay episode 86, Cute Pup, that hit the feed. Tuesday, March 11th, Deep Cuts episode 41, listener-supported podcasting, hit the feed. Seems like people are excited about that. We're going to, at some point in the near future, be introducing a subscription model so you can listen to the podcast without ads if you so choose. Hey, Tony, how are you? Oh, Tony, you never have to apologize for re-listening to the GFL series again. Nan, I hope you feel better very soon. Cobalt, I'm sorry to hear that you've had a difficult week. A lot of people have had a difficult week. You are not alone, my friend. Not alone at all. But hopefully you enjoy tonight's performance, and I will jazz it up just for you. Celticane, Celticane. It's Sigler time. Let's go! Don't forget, everybody, slap that like, thumbs up, and hit the bell, and hit subscribe if you have not done so already. Sunday, March 16th, Slay episode 86. I goofed that. Slay episode 87, Icepick, the one you're about to listen to, that will go live in the feed. And Tuesday, March 18th, the deep cuts we'll be talking about tonight will go live in the feed. Things pro authors wish they'd known before getting published. And then next Wednesday, March 19th, Slay episode 88 will be great. Scott Aitken, how you doing? Lord of the Rings girl, good to see you. Genelia, what's up? What's up? Ishmael, how you doing? Vonner, good to see you. Good to see the people rolling on it. Rolling. That's right. I said that. Okay, making sure everything is working good. Ooh, Indiana Comic-Con. That's going to be fantastic. All right, we got people on YouTube. We got people on Facebook. We've got one person on Twitch. Let's see who that was. That is Drail H. Or maybe somebody else is coming after and Drail's like, I got things to do. A little bit of action tonight. Oh, Drail, it's him. Yeah. Or them. I don't know. Drail, how are you? And getting a little action. There's been a lot of story setup going on. Rob and I have been working to set the stage for some pretty intense stuff going down as the season rolls on. This is actually the 10th episode of Slay Season 3. Can you believe it? We usually shoot for 27-ish episodes per season, simply based on that's how many episodes were in Season 1. We have, hey, Robert, we have no idea. Hey, Sean, no idea how many episodes this one will be. Hanging out with Rob this coming weekend, so we're going to try and nail that down a little bit, but... Yeah, Ishmael says it's that damn daylight savings time. That is what has truly messed me up. So we will hopefully have some kind of perspective on how many episodes are in Slay Season 3. But I'm always a little bit shocked when we get double digits. And what's right around the corner is in 3 months away, Slay episode 100. That's going to be absolutely bonkers. Hard to imagine that is coming up. Let's go to chat real quick. Oops, go to main. Wanted to remind you guys that if you want us to talk about anything, you have any ideas for deep cuts episodes, some in-depth stuff you want to know about the industry or just things in general, you can email those ideas to info@emptyset. You can also send any questions you have to info@emptyset. If you're not signed up already, text SIGTEXT 855-955-5095. Text SIGTEXT to that number. We send out text messages probably once a week, letting you know when the next Signature Play is coming up. But with all the books that are coming out at the end of 2025, that'd be a fun place for you to hear about what is going on. And of course, subscribe to the newsletter. We never sell that info. And the newsletter and the SMS list are the two places that we actually control. Like Twitter went tits up. Facebook is on its way out. Threads is now starting to get a little crazy. So it's really the single best place to stay in touch with us. Hey, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Here. Very hot. So that's
Thank you. Very hot. Okay. Got an empty glass of scotch for the tea. Big Nasty in the house. Don Shipley in the house. What's going on? Yeah, there is some Bamf and Pow going on in this episode. And then I think Junkie Party. Gosh, I didn't upgrade that yet. But Steve the Iceberg, Ricky Berg's Junkie Party, first Saturday in April. He will be doing that. We will upgrade that graphic in the near future. Let's go ahead and get rid of the timer. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Slay lower third up. You can tell a little bit froggy. Timothy Clark, hello from Alaska. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. How you doing? How you doing? You doing all right in Alaska? Fantastic. I love it. And, oh gosh, looking pale as hell today. That's the way it goes. All right, so we're going to jump right into this. Let's get it rocking and rolling, ladies and gentlemen. Check, check, check. I can see we have signal. By the way, we had an audio problem today that I spent about a half an hour on, and it was A who figured it out, not even me. That's amazing. A's not that adept at the audio for the live streaming. She get much, much better at other areas of it. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Okay, real quick. Could you guys hear the Shwarmy sound? You can hear this time, or yes or no? Valerie? Anyone? Anyone? Try it again. Can you hear the Shwarmy? Ready? Yes. Fabulous. That took a while to fix. I know you guys missed that sound. That sound's been around for friggin' 20 years in this podcast now. Pedro, how you doing? Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into it. Previously on Slay, Dante Oganov offered Lincoln a deal. Help him get blackmail material on Callista and use it to force Callista out, and Dante would set Lincoln's son Sam free. The offer brings significant danger to Sam, though, as Callista will not be happy, and Dante is being hunted by Vestinian, the man who ruined Magda and wants to kill Billy and absorb his powers. Lincoln wasn't sure if he should take the deal because of the risk to Sam, but after meeting with his substance abuse group, he's decided he now has to take this chance. In this episode, he will find out if Ariella, Magda, and Billy will join him on this quest. Find out if they will next on Slay, episode 87. A clear night. No wind, no breeze. Nothing to jostle the sweeping fields of corn. A three-quarters moon cast a lovely glow on the old farmhouse, the oak tree out front with the rope swing, a smash-to-hell Ford F-150, and on the surrounding cornfields. A woman in a gingham dress stumbled out of the house, body already bloating from bites. Her cries of fear and agony quickly lessened, then cut off altogether as her throat swole shut. She would probably die from lack of oxygen before the necrotizing venom ravaged her cardiac tissue and her heart simply stopped working. A rough way to go. Just west of the house, a man sprinted through a cornfield, fleeing for his life. Had he abandoned the woman to save himself? If so, good strategy. He moved like someone who had not yet been bitten. That touch of good fortune would not last long, though. 5 rhododonts buzzed out of the farmhouse's second-story window, quickly closed the distance. "Yo, my friend!" Icepick called out. "I will save you." The man looked, saw Icepick, and ran toward him. Toward him and Herbie was likely more accurate. The sight of a car at a time like this did wonders for directional motivation. Icepick rolled his neck, heard and felt the bones pop. He wiggled his fingers, waiting as the sprinting, heaving man drew closer. The VW Beetle behind Icepick let out a hungry whine. "Not yet," Icepick said. "Daddy needs his reps." The man stumbled, almost fell, lurched closer. The rhododonts descended toward him. Vile creatures. Chest-size, hunter-orange tarantulas with 4 bluish, translucent insectile wings as long as Icepick's arm. Add to that their hooked, finger-long yellow fangs, and one could understand the man's urgency. Icepick flicked out his right hand, let loose a spike that pierced the lead rhododont and dropped it twitching to the ground. He flicked his left. Loosing 2 spikes simultaneously, a pair of direct hits that sent their targets crashing down. The man fell to hands and knees. Now only 15 feet away, he desperately crawled forward. The final 2 creatures streaked toward him. "Herbie, eat!" Icepick heard the burbling crackle of his familiar's transformation. A thick, gray-pink tongue shot out, the sticky, bulbous end smashing into a rhododont, yanking it backward just as quickly. The last rhododont landed atop the man's head, 8 orange legs clinging tight. Before the yellow fangs drove into his skull, the tongue mace lashed out again, hammering the beast free of the man an instant before it retracted like a recoiling whip. Icepick heard crunchy noises behind him as Herbie ate his snack. The man, the victim, his chest heaving, a string of snot swinging from his nose, got to his knees, stared past Icepick at the now revealed Dimortuga happily chewing away. "But it was a car," the victim said. "Now it's... What the hell is this? Is this magic?" Icepick raised his finger to his lips. "Shh," he said. "Do you want jerboas? Because talking like that is how you get jerboas." The man blinked rapidly. "Jerboa? What? That car, is it a turtle?" Was the man in shock? Maybe. That happened. A deep, rich voice called out from the farmhouse. "Oh, hello there, Mr. Pick, I presume." A man wearing a gray suit with purple pinstripes, complete with vest and wide purple tie, stood on the front porch. He didn't look like an old-timey gangster as much as he looked like the rich man that old-timey gangsters worked for. Fancy Suit Man shimmered in a faint purple-green light, then rose into the air. He floated toward Icepick. A mesh worker. He knew Icepick's name. He'd found him here on a remote job in Kansas, a place Icepick had never been before. Not good. Icepick casually put his hands in his jeans pockets, silently reloading the spike holsters hidden inside his coat sleeves. Behind him, Herbie's low, boulder-on-boulder growl oozed out. What in Lord's name? The victim grew louder. The victim grew louder, more panicked. What satanic black magic is this? What is happening? His babbling was making Icepick nervous. The victim needed an explanation before it was too late. For him, Icepick, and Herbie, but the mesh worker in the fancy suit was already landing. Salt and pepper pencil mustache. Heavy eyebrows. Black hair parted on the side, graying at the temples. $1,000 suit. Jesus, save me, the victim said, his voice quavering. Deliver me from this evil. Icepick looked down at the sniveling man. Dude, I just saved you. The victim shook his head, started to cry. Deliver me from evil and your unholy magic and this demon car turtle. I cast you out. I cast you and your black magic out. The cornfields began to rattle. Shadows danced among them, shadows growing longer, shadows gleaming with hints of fire-orange eyes. Jerboas. This party-crashing, fancy suit-wearing, poopy-head... This party-crashing, fancy suit-wearing, poopy-head... Oof. This party-crashing, fancy suit-wearing, poopy-head meshworker had ruined the moment. Oh, bother, Icepick said. Whoever you are, meshworker, I am getting the hell out of here. Satan's minions, the victim said. Dark forces shall not drag me to... Fancy Suit Man extended one finger, a finger sparkling with purple-white energy, and touched the victim's forehead. Icepick heard a pop. The man slumped, fell back. He was dead. Now that is how you do not get Jerboas, Fancy Suit said. Icepick and Fancy Suit both stood there, waiting to see if they were doomed, waiting to see if their Jerboas would manifest. Poor Herbie whined in fear. The shadows pulled back into the fields. The corn stopped rattling. They had dodged a bullet. I would like to hire you, Mr. Pick, Fancy Suit said. May I call you Ice? Icepick thought of tossing a steel spike or four into this clown's skull via the squishy gateway of the eyes, but the man's aura radiated power. Old power. Better to stay cool and see how this played out. I go by Icepick. One word. No first, no last. The man nodded, smoothed his mustache. Very well, Icepick. Let us talk business. My name is Vestinian. Icepick managed to keep a straight face, managed to mask his instant fear at being out in a cornfield one-on-one with Vestinian, the legendary Aurora Forger, with a body count somewhere in the low 4 figures. I've heard of you, Mr. Vestinian. Good things, I hope. Icepick wondered if he should tell the man what he wanted to hear. Instinct told him that was a very bad idea. Mostly awful things, Icepick said. You are someone to be feared. Vestinian smiled. A reputation makes the man. How did you get here? Vestinian nodded toward the farmhouse. That structure is 2 centuries old, he said. The bathroom is a transit spot. The odor in there is quite, well, let's just say I wouldn't have been interested in sharing a meal with the unfortunate couple. You did not use the bathroom? How did you get here? Icepick hadn't thought to check for a transit hub. He should have done more research. I drove. He tilted his head toward Herbie, who watched Fancy Suit with suspicious eyes. My familiar made the trip in record time. Vestinian glanced at Herbie, gave the giant tortoise a smile and a nod. And what a handsome fellow your familiar is. You drove from, Lumencia, is that correct? This guy knew a lot about Icepick. Icepick knew almost nothing about this guy. Yes, that's right, Icepick said. Do you live in Lumencia? Vestinian knew a lot, but not everything. That made Icepick feel better, but only a little. I live in a lot of places. Look, while I appreciate not being eaten by shadow creatures, the job was to save the man whose brain you just boiled. Now, I will not get paid for this, and I drove to Kansas for nothing. Vestinian pursed his lips. Well, I heard you were taking this job. I wanted to meet you. Baphomet's binder said this job paid 20 gold. With a flourish, Vestinian made a fist, opened it to reveal a pile of gold pieces on his palm. 20 for you, 20 for your lost revenue, plus 10 for you just to hear my offer. Icepick had an instant hunch that dealing with Vestinian was risky, likely fraught with dangers that wouldn't be mentioned up front, yet would make themselves known soon enough. That was how it had went when Icepick had taken that job from Zamunda. Meshworkers. Always a gamble. But turtle food didn't buy itself. Icepick took the gold, put it in his pocket. Thank you, he said. What's the job? The man smiled. If the suit cost $1,000, that perfect grin cost at least 10, maybe 100. I need a small matter attended to in Lumencia. Do you know of a goblin named Dante Oganov? Drug dealer from Miami, Icepick said. He was hiring some out-of-towners to take on Callista in Lumencia. Vestinian raised an eyebrow. You heard of the offer, but you did not sign up with him? Icepick gathered Vestinian already knew the answer to that question. I did not. I've done work for Callista before. She and I have no beef. The man in gray is beholden to her. While I could beat him, he's one tough cookie. Oganov wasn't paying nearly enough for me to take on that kind of risk. Now, kindly get to the point. I have a long drive ahead of me. Vestinian opened his coat so Icepick could see he was not armed. Not that he needed to be. That purple spark would be quicker than any gun. Against purblind at least, but still. The Aurora Forger reached into a coat pocket. Icepick heard the crinkle of cellophane. Vestinian pulled out a palm-sized black disc wrapped in the stuff. No, 2 black discs with white filling between them. Is that an Oreo? Oreo big stuff, actually, Vestinian said. Largest Oreo ever made. Vintage. I acquired several boxes from a vendor in the former Soviet Union who opened a forgotten Cold War bunker. He held the crinkly package out toward Icepick. Would you like a bite? Icepick vaguely remembered the treats from when he was a kid, but as far as he knew, they didn't make the things any longer. I'm sorry. Did you say Cold War bunker? The Cold War was a long time ago, wasn't it? Vestinian shrugged, took a bite, and chewed. His eyes crinkled in pleasure. Mr. Pick, I find that in almost all areas, the phrase, they don't make 'em like they used to, resonates perpetually. Why did these rich old dudes like to talk so much? Word on the grapevine is Oganov fled Miami, Icepick said. You think he's back in Lumencia? That's what I want you to find out. And if he is there, I want you to kill him. Why do you want him dead? I'll pay you 100 gold to look for me, Vestinian said, and an extra 400 if you find him and kill him. Do you still want to know why? 500 gold? That would buy a whole lot of turtle food. Nope. I'll drive to Lumencia today. I'm happy to take your money regardless, but you strike me as a fellow who can handle things. Why aren't you going to Lumencia yourself? Vestinian's eyes narrowed. You just stated you no longer needed to know why. I don't care why you want him dead, Icepick said. When it comes to why you won't do it yourself, that makes me think you fear what might be waiting. Which means I fear what might be waiting. That why is important. With his thumb and pointer finger, Vestinian smoothed his mustache. My schedule does not permit it at this time. I'm tracking 2 people. They have led me on quite a chase across the globe. I almost had them in Prague, and again in Albuquerque. No smile when he talked about his quarry. This was the real Vestinian, free of his well-rehearsed charm. I am growing wise to their tricks, he said. Soon I will have them both. He looked down at the victim's corpse, seemed to come back to himself. He smiled again. I will arrange cleanup for you so that you can get on the road. Great, Icepick said. Who do you use, if I may ask? I'm partial to Bingles out of Cordis. Vestinian sneered. Those deviants? I think not. I utilize Dankin Laughing Hill. He and his crew of halflings are the best. Pure of heart they are. Perhaps a touch persnickety, but excellent cleaners. Vestinian again reached into his coat, drew forth a small red sphere. I expect regular updates. That was that. Taking the sphere meant taking the job. 100 gold for some flatfoot work. An extra 400 to grease a homeless drug dealer. And, if this worked out, who knew what other business Vestinian might have? Icepick took the sphere. I understand, he said. I'll contact you as soon as I get back to Lumencia. Billy should have stayed in his room researching. But no, he'd been on time for this meeting because Grandma's voice rang forever in his head. If you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. He sat on the nave couch, cuddling Dragon, scooching under the pup's soft chin. He wanted the cleaning crew to leave. Bingles, you almost done? Magda asked from her usual spot on the couch. We're having a meeting as soon as you're gone. Bingles had swapped out his black vinyl for neon pink. He looked like a Happy Meal accessory for porno Bob. He looked like a Happy Meal accessory for porno bar. He looked like a Happy Meal accessory for porno Barbie goes to Lilliputian. Almost, Bingles said. Come on, Tim, scrub it. That's it. Scrub it. Scrub it. Billy didn't look at Tim. He'd made that mistake once already, and once was enough. A little bit of a cough, sorry. Instead, Billy watched Gene Hackman rage at Denzel Washington in Crimson Tide up on the big screen. Even with the sound off, It was a masterpiece. Say, Walt, Bingle said, we're working on a new game night entry. Want to give me your thoughts? Oh, for fuck's sake. What vile creation would this be? Man, I don't care, Billy said. You guys are all nasty. Nasty is as nasty does, Not So Tiny Tim sang, loud enough to draw Billy's attention before Billy remembered Tim was on his hands and knees, scrubbing the Lagoon vomit stain off the rug, wearing nothing but a green jockstrap with a thong so thin it redefined the term butt floss. Billy winced and looked away as if hot irons had been thrust into his eyes. That actually might have been better, because being blinded for life meant he would never again have to gaze upon that tiny white rump. Bingles, you're bothering Walt. Magda was getting angry. Finish up already. That's what she said, am I right? Bingles laughed, held his jiggling belly. But seriously, I respect Walt's artistic vision. Let me skip this pebble off the pond. We have our own musical ripoff of Wicked, which is fine because Wicked is a ripoff of Wizard of Oz, so that makes it legal and stuff. He held up his hands, palms out, thumbs pointed in, like a movie director pitching a glorious scene to big money investor. We call it Ding Dongs, the Witch Rides the Dead. We set up several vanilla eclairs dosed with a pufferfish toxin. We use a gallon of John Deere tractor paint to spray... having a tough time today, guys. Get to it. We use a gallon of John Deere tractor paint to spray D-Bella Boopa green, and then I got a game for you, Magda said. It's called If You Don't Shut Up, I Will Punch You in the Dick So Hard You Will Fart Out Your Own Nuts. Not So Tiny Tim jumped to his feet, waved his hand like an eager kid in class. Oh! Can I play? Can I? Magda shook her head. These little pervs can't be beat. They just can't. She then took a big, burbling hit off of her blue bong. Ariella click-clacked into the room, laptop under one arm, Baphomet's big binder under the other. Bingles, if you're not out of here in 2 minutes, I'm only paying you half for this job, she said. We have work to do, so get out. Threatening to pulverize the man's genitalia did nothing. Threatening to shortchange him, no pun intended, made he and Tim move like Crips had just rolled up on them and they had to sprint for cover. The two gnomes packed up their cleaning supplies and were gone in 60 seconds. Magda took another bong hit. Ariella stared down at the damp spot on the rug. They might be disgusting, but they do great work, she said. Not even a trace of it. No stench at all. She shouted toward the kitchen. Lincoln, Cantrell, get your asses in here. Lincoln, in his civvy uniform of black jeans and a grain black flannel, hurried into the room and took his seat on the couch. Dragon leapt into his lap, tried to lick his face. Lincoln hooked a thumb in her collar, casually held her just out of tongue distance. Dylan Cantrell followed, messenger bag over the shoulder of his tweed coat. Oh, wow, Crimson Tide, he said. What a marvelous cinematic journey. Ariella pointed to the couch's armrest. Park it, Cantrell. She set her laptop on the coffee table, kicked off her red-soled high heels, dropped into the lazy boy, set Baphomet's big binder on her lap. All right, Magda, turn off the movie. Counselor Cantrell was kind enough to join us and answer any questions we might have regarding his client, Dante Oganov, a murdering, drug-dealing, scumbag goblin. No offense, Counselor. None taken, Cantrell said. That was actually a rather accurate assessment. No, Billy knew it was an understatement. Any description of Dante needed another 10 or so negative adverbs to do him justice. We all had a night to sleep on it, Ariella said. Now we decide if we're taking this job. Lincoln, you first. Lincoln said, dragging back on Billy's lap, stood, and cleared his throat. Oh, fuck this, Magda said before he could talk. You running for senior class president or something, Link? Make sure your fly's not down while you're doing it. Link actually looked at a zipper. God damn it, Mags. Deities of all stripes, grant me strength, Ariella said. For once, for fucking once, can we have a normal conversation like professional adults and not poke at each other with stupid comments like we're in junior high? A wasted request, Billy knew. Once Mags got rolling on that bong, she did not stop. Oh, my bad, she said. I meant to say 7th grade class president. Link, sit your country ass down. Lincoln remained standing. I'm doing this, he said. I'd love to have you all join me, but I don't demand it. In fact, to be blunt, I think you guys are dumb if you do join me. Billy, I know you said you were in, but if you want to clear out in case Vestinian catches up with Dante, I understand. And I'm not just saying that. I understand. You, Billy held up a hand, cutting Link off. Link, I'm in. End of story. If not for you, my head would have been served up on a platter. A platter given to Dante, Magda said, because Vestinian paid for it. The pot buzz graced her eyes, but those eyes still held a hard glare. An honest glare. Lincoln nodded. She's right. It was Vestinian who... Enough! Billy snapped. I made my decision. Don't question it again. Lincoln met Billy's eyes. He nodded solemnly. Magda flicked her lighter and took another bong toke. Ariella glared at her. How about you, Snoop M-A-double-G? Think you can stop boofing long enough to give us an answer? Snoop M-A-double-G. That was pretty good, Billy had to admit. Yeah, I thought about it, Magda said. I think this is the queen of all bad ideas. The fucking empress of all bad ideas. I think we're tossing bear bait to a rabid grizzly that doesn't know we're here, and when he finds out we are, he's gonna huff and puff and blow our doors in. Cantrell raised a finger. Actually, it's wolves that huff and... Lincoln reached out a hand, whipped fast, gently covered Cantrell's mouth. Cantrell got the message. Go ahead, Mags, Lincoln said. Say what you gotta say. Billy didn't know what she had decided. Vestinian was a mental shadow, always with her, always cutting at her. Callista holds all the cards, Magda said. Helping Dante go against her is bad. Drawing Vestinian's attention is bad. And yet... She set the bong on the coffee table, gathered herself. And yet, this might be the only chance we get to free Sam off the shelf. Callista wants her pet Rixator back. Even if she does honor the contract, Sam would be there at least 2 more years. I say we take Dante up on this offer. I know I can't do much to help it. I'm in. Billy knew that he was being brave to help Lincoln. No selling that short. Magda's choice, though, it was far braver, far harder. Vestinian had destroyed her. She had Link's back, no matter what the consequences. Thank you, Mags, Lincoln said. I love you, man. Magda picked up her bong. Well, let's not start sucking each other's dicks just yet. Boss bitch, what say you? Are you in? Ariella adjusted her glasses. Damn, it was sexy the way she did that. Oh, I've been in from the start, she said. Freeing Lincoln from Callista's contract opens up many business opportunities for us. It's worth the risk. Cantrell, we accept your offer, but we have some clauses. Ariella had clauses? She'd already planned this out? Billy hadn't thought past his yes vote. Shoot, Cantrell said. First, Walt's identity, Ariella said. If you let his real name slip for any reason, that's on you, not Dante. I will personally cut out your liver and have it with a nice Chianti. Cantrell nodded. Wow, that's specific. I understand. Damn. Homeslice got threatened with some Hannibal Lecter shit and it didn't faze him? Billy's respect for the foppish man ticked up a notch. Ariella, Magda said. Did you just drop a movie reference? Ariella raised one eyebrow up above her black-rimmed glasses. The corner of her mouth dimpled in a slightly seductive smile. Quid pro quo, she said. Quid pro quo. Billy shifted uncomfortably. Damn, that woman was hot. The second point, Counselor Cantrell, is this church, Ariella said. If Dante, Callista, Vestinian, or a fucking errant Jehovah's Witness with a broken compass shows up here asking for directions, that's on you. I will cut you until my razor gets dull, then I will sharpen it, and I will cut you some more. Dragon let out a little whimper. It was one hell of a threat, and it wasn't just words. Ariella exuded potential violence to a degree that made Lincoln Franks seem like a choir boy. Billy twirled Dragon's ear. She stopped whimpering. Really, really specific, Cantrell said. Wow, I understand. Third, if we get evidence and Callista doesn't take the deal, Dante kills her or dies trying, Ariella said. If he doesn't, we will not rest until we turn his skull into a new bong for Magda. Fuck, yes, Magda said. Awesome. A comical moment, but Cantrell did not laugh. I will tell my client exactly what you said about his skull. He already believes I don't know where Lincoln lives. I don't think he has any idea that Walt is, well, he doesn't suspect Walt's other name. Is there anything else? Ariella looked at each old stone churcher in turn. She even looked at Dragon, giving the pup a chance to speak. Dragon yipped. Billy was pretty sure it didn't mean anything. Nothing else, Ariella said. So what is this evidence we're supposed to get? Cantrell shrugged. Dante hasn't told me yet. He wanted me to make sure it was a deal first. It's a deal when we know what the evidence is, Ariella said. We can still back out of this if it's something impossible. Agreed? Cantrell stood. Agreed. I'll find out and I'll get back to you. Don't contact us again until you can tell us what it is we need to acquire, Ariella said. And from here on out, call. Don't visit. I don't want to see your ass here again. Good night, Counselor. Cantrell seemed like he wanted to say something, but he did not. He looked at Lincoln, and his eyes said it all. I wish there was another way, but this is the only way. I know you took a chance on this, Lincoln said to him. I appreciate it. Now clear out. Cantrell left the room. So, we're doing this, Ariella said. Lincoln, Billy, while we're waiting for our marching orders, I need you to acquire an artifact for me in the city of Acre, in Israel. Location of the hospital commandery of Jean Saint d'Arc. There, in the lower catacombs, unknown to the purblind, an enchanted suit of armor that once belonged to Sir Arnault de Brienne the Pure guards a meshwork gemstone. I need that armor. It could be very important to us. Enchanted armor? Israel? Billy had never been outside of America. Lincoln sat. You going to tell us what this artifact is supposed to do? No, Ariella said. Not until I know it works. And no, this doesn't involve your son. I can tell you that at least. That Ariella wouldn't tell them what the armor meant was that Ariella wouldn't tell them what the armor did meant it was something powerful, something that would help them, if it worked. She had done the same thing with the medallion that let Lincoln speak to Sam on the shelf. "You point, we fetch," Lincoln said. "We'll go now." Magda repacked the Bong's bowl. "While they're out, I'll work on that van. My dad is a television repairman. He's got this ultimate set of tools." Ariella's face wrinkled. "Your dad? What the hell are you talking about?" "It's from a movie," Billy said. "Don't worry about it." She still had a long ways to go with pop culture references, it seemed. Link stood. "Are we taking Dragon?" "No," Ariella said. "Shitbird stays as well. You'll transit to Quartus, then to the fortress latrines." Billy leaned back. "Latrines? That sounds nasty. Like Bingles level nasty." "Probably," Lincoln said. "You wanted to be on the first team, kid. You got it and all the glory that comes with it. Get geared up. You and I are heading to the Holy Land." Yeah, oh, I don't know why I moved my mic. That was crazy. That's crazy talk. Crazy talk. Okay, let's see. Make sure I get this deep cuts ready to go. Close, close, close. Fried my voice a little bit, you guys. I'm sorry about that. It really, not being able to hit that falsetto break really kind of gums up both Bingles and Magda. So I will probably have to re-record that whole thing. Mike King, hello. I saw Barry Bounois. I used to listen to tons of audiobook. I meant it when I said you have SAG-level voice acting skills. Thank you. Thank you very much. I got kind of taken out of my own head today because that transition from chest voice up into head voice and then like breaking in the falsetto a little bit, that's singing nomenclature, voice acting nomenclature, I guess. The Corrupted Human says, "Damn, crap, I hate when I'm late. Then realize I also missed an episode." You know what? We got them all recorded for you. It's fine. You can go. It's fine. Wow. You can go back and listen to it. Listen to it later. Hello, darling. Okay, let's go to the main. And, I thought I turned that off.
How'd you fare?
Not great.
I heard you stop a couple
I got to probably do it again. Okay, here you go. Well, once I got into my noggin. Okay, let's get your A-cam. Ladies and gentlemen, look what it is.
Hello, pals. I don't know why I'm yelling. The microphone's right there.
At least your headphones are on this time.
You left your headphones on the whole time, too.
I did?
You did?
Could you hear it?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I want to make sure.
On your head.
I did?
You did.
God damn it.
The whole time.
That's probably, I didn't realize.
Hi, guys.
We have to redo the whole, I have to redo the whole thing. I don't know when I'm going to do it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I forgot to take my headphones off. Clearly, I'm out of sorts today. There's all kinds of stuff going on. Is that large enough for you, babe?
Yeah, I think that'll work.
Let's do this.
Yeah, that's a lot
That's
better.
way better.
That's way
and
better.
And now you can see that audio monitor right there?
Yeah, I can, and I think I'm doing a little bit better at it. We'll find out. How are you guys?
Talk to him a little bit. Let me watch.
It is raining here in Southern California. It's about to start raining again. It rained all day yesterday, and it's going to rain all day tomorrow.
What is going on?
But other than that, being difficult for the dogs because they hate to walk in the rain, it's terrific for my newly replanted patio plants. So there you go.
There we go. Okay. Terry Jordan says, "Hey, Lady Sigler." Oh, God, does that every time. All right, guys, we're getting reset. We're getting reconfigured here as we switch cameras. Coming over here. Sean asked, what does taking off the headphones do for the audio? It's more for the video, pardon me, because we are eventually going to chop these up, put these on YouTube as its own little video podcast. So it's not at all a big deal, but it does impact the way I perform because now I'm hearing amplified signal instead of hearing my own natural voice. So that was probably, frankly, a big part of it because I had the headphones on the whole time. I just got all scattered.
And you guys don't know this, but just a few minutes before, can you put my little counter thing back?
Oh, I just went right over the top of it.
maybe
There
10,
it is.
15 minutes before we went live, Scott started some of that coughing that you also heard and texted and said, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to read the whole thing. But I think once you got into it, you got into it.
Yeah, I'm going to try and adjust my mic. So we've got, it looks like we're getting the same vocal level. You, of course, sound odd. You sound odd to me. So go ahead and talk a little more.
Can you hear the dog in the next room?
I can hear the dog in the
Does
next
that
room.
matter? Can you guys hear the dog in the next room?
I don't think that
whining
matters.
at the
I
door?
don't think that matters at all. Let's go to main.
Oh,
There we go. Okay, so thank you guys for joining us. Let's see. Very cloudy in Las Vegas, Michael Moore says. Okay, just doing one more quick check on things and stuff. We got a bumper crop of people in the house. Couple new people in the room, it looked like. Glad to see you.
Yeah,
Glad
for
you could
sure,
join
couple.
us. To let you know, yes, we do this every Wednesday. And we do about a half an hour's worth of new fiction read, and then about a half an hour's worth of what's called deep cuts. So that is our bonus episodes. We're going to get into it right now.
all right.
I did not, because of the audio problem, I did not get any of the pictures up at all.
They're all in there, but you can't call them up.
I will. Why don't you vamp for a second and see what I can do?
So we're going to do the whole intro to Deep Cuts in a moment. But if you were not here last week, before we start, I have, or you're new to this cast, I am historically a lot quieter on the cast than Scott is. And part of that is my voice. And part of it is this tiny room and how close we are to each other physically. So his voice overpowers my microphone and gets into my microphone. So last week, you can't see it, obviously, but on the screen that I am looking at to look at you guys, Scott put a little audio meter there.
VU meter.
VU meter so that I can see it. So I'm practicing doing that. Let's see, what else can I tell you guys? We will do a whole intro for Deep Cuts, but this one was kind of fun. The topic is what published authors wish they knew before they published. And the results are kind of interesting. Scott has a handful of writer friends, some of whom are my friends too, over the years from cons and stuff. And I asked so that Scott wouldn't see the answers so that he could react in real time as the author. And they were really fun and really sweet. And even people who have published dozens of books and have several pen names and who knows what and all the things. Wait, this way I'll go. They were excited to be asked, and they all had something to say. So these are the people you'll see during Deep Cuts that we got feedback from, and then we're of course going to ask Scott. And if you guys in the chat room have any questions as we go along, feel free to ask in the chat room, or
books.
you're going to always email us.
And then we can see the covers nice and big.
All right.
Sadly,
nice
we did not get author pictures up because I got distracted today. So I had a bunch of stuff going on. Did not get our stuff done, and then I just need to go into settings.
Oh, I didn't realize you were going to call up author photos too.
I didn't think about. Yeah, I was distracted. So let's see. Advanced.
So let's see.
Hotkeys.
Deep Cuts topic. Sean coming in clutch again with the Deep Cuts topic. What have you done voice care and warm up routines? The cast, and we haven't.
Usually, oh, you mean for a topic?
Yeah, it's a Deep Cuts topic. It's actually not a bad one because I'm about to start. I know that Steve, I think, is in the chat room, and we've been chatting all week about finally starting the Alive and Alight re-record. So that'll start probably when the rain stops here. And there is quite a lot to talk about because our voice problems are different. I am very clicky when I'm recording in an isolated booth and have a lot of sort of wet mouth noises, which sounds terrible. And Scott, of course, has so much more behind the mic experience than I do, but also less formal vocal training. I went to acting school, so I have vocal training. I was in choirs and choruses all through high school and college, and he was not. So there are a few things that I do that he just pushes too hard because he's trained himself. So we have different routines because we have different problems. And then there are a handful of things that are for everybody. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I just have to find where this is so we can switch between our different pictures.
All right.
So we're almost there. Just got to find it.
Let's see.
Vamp a little bit more.
I don't know if you guys know this. I recently started reading the copy, the work in progress that he'll read to you when he finishes it. So he finished this on Monday, I think, and I read it along. He and Rob go back and forth discussing as authors, but I review it for things like, you last episode you chopped off this guy's hand and it's back in this episode, things like that. And that way, if I can look at it and correct typos or fix names,
great.
Then he ends up in a much better, fewer what do they call it? Puncheons, fewer puncheons.
Fewer puncheons.
You want to get started?
Yeah, let's get rocking and rolling. Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Press record.
Oh, yeah. Check one. Give me a check, baby.
Check one. Check
good.
Two. Looks good. All righty.
And in this installment of How the Sausage Gets Made, we're going to get rolling. And here we go. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
You fancy pro authors getting paid to put out books and stories and whatnot. You know everything about the publishing biz, right? Wrong, oh fish breath.
We have asked a bunch of pro authors about things they wished they'd known before getting published, including Delilah Dawson, Jonathan Mayberry, and of course, your future Dark Overlord, Scott Sigler. We'll share these tidbits of wisdom right after this quick break.
Okay, here we go. We're going to get into it. Welcome to Deep Cuts. I screwed it up already. Welcome to Deep Cuts, the bonus episode of the Scott Sigler Slices Fiction Podcast, where a sci-fi author and an audiobook narrator discuss things and stuff in the world of fiction and pop culture. I am Scott Sigler, sci-fi horror author known far and wide as the future Dark Overlord.
And I am A.B. Sigler, publisher at Empty Set Entertainment and audiobook narrator. And on this Deep Cuts, we're talking about things pro authors wish they'd known before getting published.
A reminder, this is a bonus episode of the Scott Sigler Slices podcast. It's not part of any particular story. You don't have to listen to keep up, but we think you'll like this peek behind the storyteller's curtain. Ready to get into this?
Yeah, I'm going to set an alarm. Give me a second.
All right, sounds like
Ready when you are.
Sounds like our sound's going pretty good. Everybody
Yeah,
says
so
sounds
far,
good,
yeah,
which
so
is
far so
wonderful.
good.
We've had some problems with that. Yep, ready when you are, and go.
So, as discussed, we asked a handful of authors what they wish they knew before they were published, but we're going to start with if there's anything you wish you knew before publishing.
I put in absolutely zero prep time for this, so I am totally pulling this one out of the keister. I guess what I wish I had known before getting published is how fast things change in the world of publishing. When you're coming into the business, at least when I was coming up, as an 80s kid, 90s, 20-something moving through life and whatnot, the publishing industry really hadn't changed all that much for a very long time, with the exception of Amazon.
Oh.
Amazon's the only real change to the publishing industry that happened at all. You go back to the 30s, 40s, it was all kind of the same stuff. Now, what I wish I had known was how disruptive new technology would be, how rapidly things would change, and how putting a lot of work into mastering this particular set of skills, those particular set of skills, would be gone in 6 months to a year later. So I wish I had known that the publishing industry is fluid, it is dynamic, things change very rapidly right now, and going really deep and narrow on your learning winds up being, it shortchanges you because you probably should be shallow and wide, if I have the terminology correct.
Yeah, I think you do.
You need to learn a whole bunch about a lot of different things and be ready to drop those things and cast those things aside. Case in point, there were people who built their entire author website persona on Tumblr. Like Tumblr was the whole thing, and they invested all this time and effort and money into building up their Tumblr audience, and then in a matter of like 3 months, Tumblr went from dominant to non-existent, and they lost it, and some of those people never got